I declare open this hearing of the Public Accounts and Estimates Committee. I ask that mobile telephones please be turned to silent. I begin by acknowledging the traditional Aboriginal owners of the land on which we are meeting, the lands of the Wurundjeri people. We pay our respects to them, their elders past, present and emerging, as well as elders from other communities who may be here with us today. On behalf of the Parliament, the committee is conducting this inquiry into the 2025-26 budget estimates. The committee's aim is to scrutinise public administration and finance to improve outcomes for the Victorian community.
Could I get an assessment from you, Minister? How much would we expect the SCS to continue to have to rely on fundraising going forward? We hear perhaps that for every $2 raised, they get $1 from the government. Does that sound about right to you?
So with for example, with the VSEP grants, the methodology applies of for every $2 of government, $1 will go in from the local units. But it is the expectation with the VSEP, with the Emergency Services and Volunteer Fund, that there will be less need for our SES volunteers to have to go out and shake that tin, because we know that while that community interaction, while that talking with people and engaging with people, can be an important component of fundraising, really the people are there to help. They want to be out helping community. They want to be out, putting something on that, putting some tarp over that roof. They want to be going to that road rescue. They want to be going to, pull that tree off the road. They want to be doing the things that, sandbagging as we've heard. They want to be able to be out there in community helping rather than fundraising.
Could I just get clarification from you? The rolling fleet replacement program, how much are we expecting that to be replacing each year, and how much is in need of replacing right now in FRB?
Yep. So with the fleet replacement, what you'll see is exactly what it is, which is a rolling replacement. So it means that as appliances become available, and so you may not, so when it comes to putting on, it's not like we put one off the shelf, order it and it comes out to service. There's actually more than a 2-year process that is needed to be able to put together a truck. So the chassis will come out, we import the chassis, it comes in, and then it goes off to be workshopped, if you like. It goes out to be manufactured, where the rest of the truck is put together. So this takes time, as you would imagine. So it depends on the appliance as to how long that will take. So when you talk about, exactly when they'll be replaced, it will depend on what's been ordered, how long it will take to assemble and put together, or how long it takes to arrive here, how long it will take to assemble and to put together, and so on. So we have got a number of appliances also at the moment that are in the process of being commissioned. But I think when we look at things like Evie, which is an amazing appliance, where we had, and it's a really good example of where we've had FRV work with firefighters and work with the United Firefighters Union to design a state-of-the-art appliance. It's only the second in the country that is electrically powered, where they've worked so well together to create an appliance that is something that the state should be really proud of. So there are appliances that are coming online and that they will continue to roll out.
Thank you, Minister. Do you have an assessment of how many trucks you expect will still be past retirement age and not replaced by these funds?
Well, it depends on your definition of retirement age. So I know that there is an application of 15 years that is applied to appliances, but really it's not just that idea of, well, you've hit your mid-teens so you're redundant. It's really, you've got to look at all of the ins and outs of an appliance. How often has it been used? What's the kilometre mileage on it? What kind of condition is as to whether or not it actually needs to be replaced, because some areas are less active than others, or some different appliances play different roles and are required for different fires. So you may see an appliance that doesn't go out as often as others do because it has got a different application and it fights different types of fires.
Thank you. I mean, just a further assessment from you though, for some of these assets, how old is too old?
Well, that's really a decision for FRV to work through with their workforce. It's not a decision for me.
I take that, I note that, but what are you hearing from FRV in that regard?
So we know that for FRV, over 85, they've hit their benchmark in terms of having over 85% of their appliances be operational and not be offline. So we see that they are maintaining, they have got an excellent maintenance crew who go out either onto the fire ground, they'll go out to the unit itself, to the brigade itself, or it will come into their mechanics shops, such as the one at Thornbury, to repair the trucks as they needed to be repaired. So FRV, I know, is appreciative of having a rolling replacement fleet, and that this $40 million is welcome because it will continue, and it does give some line of sight and some absolute certainty around ordering what needs to be ordered and to be able to do a bit of forward planning.
Minister, following the 2022 floods, Melbourne Water began a flood mitigation study for the Maribyrnong catchment, which should be finished next year. Can I ask, have you been briefed as to whether the government will commit to funding the outcomes of that study in full?
Yes, so with the outcome, with the flood inquiry, we saw that, I think it was only 2%, less than 2%, but it was only 2 that weren't supported by the government. The rest of them were supported in principle, were supported in full, or where we wanted further information to be examined to see what we can do. What was reassuring about the flood inquiry was that it actually showed that government is heading in the right direction, that a number of the things that we'd already begun to implement and already begun to work on were forming part of the recommendations that came out of the flood inquiry. And I really do want to thank those people with that experience who felt comfortable enough, had the confidence to come forward to the inquiry and talk about their lived experience, because I haven't had my house flooded. I haven't had my house burned to the ground. I have stood on the balcony of my home over Black Saturday smelling the air to see how far away it was from my home. But I haven't had that lived experience. So I can only imagine how challenging it was for people to relive that and to share their experiences with the inquiry. And I really want to thank them for doing that, because it helped us as a government. It helped us understand what we can do better, what we're doing that is the right thing to do, but also the other learnings that we can have. So there is some work to be done there, but it is really something that you might want to raise with the Minister for Planning, because it really does fall within her remit of what can be done around that. But we have got flood studies that are underway at the moment, which are statewide, where we do want to understand what the future holds in terms of our waterways. When we're seeing the events that we are seeing occur with such frequency, when we're seeing downpours that our state doesn't normally have, like we're not Queensland. We don't have these downpours that just flood waterways so quickly. So there is a lot of work to be done in terms of understanding floodplains, as well as the work that can be done on mitigations, whether it's levies or what else might be needed. But it is something that you probably want to raise, you may want to raise with the Minister for Planning.
Just on bushfires, outlook forecasting increased risks of winter bushfires even. To be quite blunt, do you have the resources that you need to help communities recover if those risks become realised?
Yeah, look, the risk is absolutely, you are absolutely right.
Minister, I understand the government has committed to building an intersex protection system. It's consulted on these plans. A summary report and next steps were due to be released early 2024. And I also understand we're expecting legislation this year to protect children from deferrable medical interventions which modify their sex characteristics. To your visibility, is this still on track? When can we expect this legislation?
Yeah, it is. It is legislation that is being led by the Minister for Health, and I really want to thank her for the leadership that she has shown in progressing this. I know that she made a commitment to the task force last year that she would continue this work, and I really want to thank her for meeting with the task force and for showing how seriously she and the government takes this issue. And it is a really serious issue. To have that autonomy over yourself, even if you are a very small being, is really important, and this is work that I'm determined to see through, and I know the Minister for Health is too. So I think that it's about helping to preserve someone's autonomy, but it's also about helping to protect and ensure their reproductive health as well. And I think that by putting these protections in place, we're making sure that when people get to an age where they're ready to make a decision about what medical intervention, if any, they need, that they're able to do so, rather than have it taken out of their hands before they're really conscious of knowing what could or may be needed for them. So the establishment there is frustration amongst dedicated and long-standing intersex advocates around these important reforms. I know that they really want to see them done, and the needs for people with innate variations in sex characteristics are diverse, and they have been misunderstood and overlooked. And I really do acknowledge the distress that people feel about that, and it's very real. And I'm sorry that it has been a long journey for them, and I really want to thank them for their ongoing advocacy and the work that they do. There's a sorrow for how hard this has been for so many people over so many decades as you grow and realise that decisions were taken out of your hands, that you are powerless to do anything to reverse or to change. We're committed to the safety and equality for all Victorians, and that includes improving the health and wellbeing outcomes and experiences of care for people with innate variations of sex characteristics. So we did commission the I Am Equal Future Directions for Victorians Intersex Community paper, and what the paper did was provide a range of initiatives to support intersex Victorians, including establishing an intersex protection system, dedicated wellbeing centre, and a suite of intersex resources for children, families and health professionals.
I declare this hearing adjourned.